let us go through what we call inner healing, and then we'll do a practice. Now, inner healing is very significant. When we talk about the soul, we talk about the wounds of the soul. We talk about the wounds of what? The soul. The soul needs deliverance. The soul gets wounded. When the soul is wounded and broken, that soul will not praise the Lord very well. Have you seen people who come to church and they can't even raise up their hands? And we, the service leaders, tell them, did you not eat? By the way, that's wrong and rude. You service leaders, you worship leader, Crystal, my daughter, never say, did you not eat? No, the truth, they might have not ate. So we should not ever say, but you see people come, they can't even lift up their hands. When you say clap to the Lord, they clap like. You tell them to jump, they do. They need set free. When we talk about this, it is not just talking about it, but we're going to exercise something. Life is full of pain. Life is full of traumas. Life has traumas. Traumas causes pain. And this pain, if it's not dealt with, will cause bitterness. And before we know, bitterness eats you up. And if bitterness is not processed out of your heart, resentment kicks in, you resent yourself. And when you are in your downcast, then contemplation of suicide comes in. And before you know it, death proceeds. So life is full of pain. But the way you process this pain out of you will determine the quality of life you're going to live. The way we process the pain in a human heart. Life as we know it doesn't sound fair. The things that happen to us are stored in our soul. And if we don't know how to get them out, we end up miserable. You see, Christianity is supposed to be enjoyed. The freedom Jesus brings should be enjoyed. But most people live their lives and never taste what it means to be happy. In fact, they even envy those who are happy. There is one common problem or common spirit. This spirit comes in various faces. And this spirit is known as the spirit of rejection. Rejection. Rejection does not start with you, did not start with your jaja, your grandfather, your grandmother. It started with our first father, Adam. Adam was rejected because of sin. The father rejected him and pushed him out of the garden. We're born rejected. Some of us will receive rejection even when we are still in our wombs. For instance, unwanted pregnancies, accidental pregnancies. We never planned it and it happened. So we raise a rage against why it happened. The man says it was your fault, and the woman says it was your fault. And then who gets the rejection? The babe in the womb who receives the rejection. Some babies are just rejected by the way they look. Some of them just hear it from at very, very tender age. And then we grow with this. Some of us, we are coming from polygamous families where the father has many wives and many children. And then they happen to bring you to stepmother. And you don't receive the amount of love that you're supposed to receive. Now hear me very well. Everyone was created to love and to be loved. Say to your neighbor, we were created to love and to be loved. But when you don't receive an amount of love in your life, you receive what we call a deficit and a defect. And the soul is crippled. When the soul is crippled, it's like a polythene bag that you throw upon the fire. What it does, it shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. That's where we get people that are known as to be introverts. Introvert means someone who is ever inside. They hold in. They don't say. They are loner. They are by themselves. They feel like, I can do this by myself. As much as we say no man is an island, for them, they will do things by themselves. If this is a husband, he will make decision without telling the wife. He knows to be a loner. He knows to be by himself. He holds information inside. Very secretive. You'll never know what he's all about. If it is a woman, same thing happens, and they always urge you. I don't understand you. You don't say anything. You don't tell your stuff. Some of our courage are so coming from the rejection part and the orphan spirit that we even have pastors who are wounded like that, and they are never healed from that. When a pastor suffers or he's an orphan in his heart, this is what happens. In his heart, there is insecurity. He doesn't trust nobody. He is doing everything by himself. He has trust issues. He will never let nobody stand on the platform and preach. He's insecure about everything. When these things are in your heart, all you need is healing. All you need is a set free from your heart. Hear me very well. We need inner healing. I believe we need inner healing for every couple before they enter marriage. I counsel marriages, married people, or premarital counseling. I do it. I have wedded a number of people. But one of the things that I take serious is to take these couples through the process of healing. Why? Because all of us, we are a product of our past. We are a product of our past. You behave the way you behave because of where you're coming from. You speak Lugubara because you grew up in an environment of Lugubaras, and you did not just take their language, you also took the mannerism and the behaviors of that society. If we took you from Alua and we place you in Japan, you behave like the Japanese, even if your blood is Lugubara. Why? We're a product of our past. The things that we go through at the tender age when we are young affects our souls. When we come to the church, nobody teaches that. Nobody tells us that. We are just told, jump before the Lord. Praise the Lord. But they don't go to where we are hurting and we are wounded. People are rejected from their families. When people are rejected from their families, they carry it to another generation. They are wounded in the heart. They are broken inside. And nobody helps them out. And so they never exercise their full potential. Their potential is never maximized. They are always somehow coming short of things, coming short of joy, coming short of anything. They are so critical and judgmental. They are pitiful, self-pity. All that I'm talking about is there in your checklist. Self-pity, laziness, all that is helpless, vulnerable. Fear, we call phobias. Fear to marry. They fear to marry. They fear riches. They fear to move from one place to another. They are fearing to dare anything. They will never dare a business because they are coming from, you'll never make it. You are weak. They had it from childhood. You are just a lugubar. You'll never make it. You are just like that. You are a big-headed. You are small. You are no good. You are not enough, man enough. You are stupid. They had this word from. Some of this stuff happens when we receive verbal abuse, insults, when we receive physical abuse, when we receive sexual abuse. When people are